Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Haute Bella experience. In today's video, you guys, I am finally getting around to playing with the Danessa Myrics Beauty Lightwork Vol III Infinite Light palette, and this is what she looks like. I showed you guys this palette just a little while ago in my Sephora haul video, but this is what this palette looks like. It is absolutely gorgeous, you guys. It is so pretty. All of these shades in this palette are shimmer shades, but that's okay. Well, I take that back. All of the shades in this palette are shimmers except for this one right here, which is called Black Hole, and it's the black that I used in this eye look today. But this is a gorgeous palette. I believe the intention of this palette was to give us shadows and highlighters, and if that is true, then these shades here could be used as highlighters. I did use it as a highlight today in this look, but I like using my makeup products any way that I want to, so I did use it in the eye look as well. So if you guys would like to see how I created this gorgeous eye look and also this gorgeous complexion using some products from Fenty Beauty, then keep watching. My face has been cleansed, and for my prep today I am using the Caudalie Glycolic Essence. I've been using this over the last several days, and I'm using this to also prep my skin for this makeup look. I'm also using the Caudalie Dark Spot Serum to prep my face today. I then followed up with the Pro Filter Soft Matte Primer from Fenty Beauty. Since I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Foundation Powder for my complexion today, I thought it would be a good idea to use the primer as well. I'm going to use the Danessa Myrics Lightwork Vol III palette. This is the Infinite Light palette. And for my brow bone highlight, I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Golden Eclipse. I think this is meant to be a highlighter shade, but I like using my products the way I like using my products. So I'm going to use this as my brow bone highlight. I forgot to mention, to prep my eyelids, I did use my P. Louise eyeshadow base. All of the shades in this palette have some type of shimmer to them except for this black. And I am in need of a transition shade for this look. When I purchased this palette, I knew that I was going to have a companion palette to go along with it in order for me to use it. But I think today what I'm going to try doing is I am going to use the Danessa Myrics Power Cream Bronzer. This is a beautiful shade of bronzer. I use it for contouring, and I am going to use this as my transition shade in this look, and I'm just going to contour out my eyes very softly using this bronzer. I'm only taking a little bit on my brush at a time because it doesn't take very much of this, and I am going to use this as I would a transition shade. So just from that one little dab into that palette, I had enough to use on both eyes. A little bit goes a long way. I'm going to build this up to my desired level of intensity. And now I am going to go in for the kill, honey. I'm not wasting any time with this eye look. I'm going to go into this shade right here. This shade is called Black Hole, and I'm going to place this on the outer V of my eye and sweep it into the crease area. I'm going to try to be really careful with this because I know this is extremely pigmented, but this is a New Year's Eve look I'm creating today, so I'm bringing the drama along with it. But I still want to go about this gradually, so I want to start with just a little bit first and then build my way up. So I'm not going in with too much on my brush at one time. I'm just starting off with a little bit and then building it up. So I've softly blended out the black, but I think I want to go in with just a little bit more intensity here. So I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to switch over to this MAC 242, and I am going to go back into this black shade, and this is called a black hole, and I'm going to dip in with this brush, and I'm going to keep this tightly on towards my lash line just to build up that outer V just a little bit more. I'm really liking this black shade out of this palette from Danessa Myrics. It's really, really nice. Just on the outer V like that. I'm now taking my P. Louise eyeshadow base and I'm carving out a portion of my lid. So I've got this little half cut crease type situation that I always do for just about every eye look. If I'm going to use my P. Louise eyeshadow base after I've laid down my transition shade, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be doing this little half cut crease type situation. I like the way that looks on my particular eyes, but I'm going to go back to my fluffy brush, the first brush I started off with when I was applying the darker shade I have down here. This shade is called Black Hole, and I'm going to begin just to soften up the edges here. I'm now going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Polaris, and I'm going to use this in the area here where I still have my P. Louise eyeshadow base showing. I'm not going to take it all the way into the inner corner. I'm going to leave a little bit of the inner corner open, but yeah, I'm just going to place some of this shade here on my lid. This is an interesting shade. It is so creamy, but girl, look at that. Look at this. And it's only taking a little bit of this on my brush. It's not taking a lot. It's better to start off lightly and build up versus going in really heavy. These are some powerful shades in this palette, but they are gorgeous. And I think while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and add my shade in the inner corner. I'm going to go back to this shade right here. This is called Golden Eclipse, and I think this is meant to be a highlighter shade, but again, right, I'm going to use this palette any way that I want to. And I've already used this shade as my brow bone highlight. I'm going to put some right here in the corner. I'm going to come back and do some blending, but for right now, I'm just going for the placement. All right, now that I've got the shadows placed, I'm going to use my MAC 242, and we're going to go to work blending. I just want all of these shades to marry together on this lid. I don't want there to be a whole lot of distinction between the colors as you're going from left to right or right to left. I just want them to just gently blend into each other. So I'm starting here with the black. Pretty. I'm going to tap back into my black once again, and I'm just going to put a little bit more on my outer V where I may have blended it away a little bit, because I want that to stay intense right there on that outer V. I'm changing brushes. I'm now using my Sigma E36 brush. I believe that's what it is. Is it an E36? Yes, it's an E36. I'm going to go back into this black shade again. This is called Black Hole, and I'm going to put some of this on this brush, and I am going to place this in the area where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. I'm going to be very gentle with this. This is a very intense black, but just very softly, I'm just tickling over these areas. I'm not putting any pressure at all on the brush. I'm just tickling over this area just a little bit. I'm going to add my liner and my lashes, and I'll be right back. My liner and my lashes are done, and now it's time for concealer and contouring, and I am going to be using my concealer from Pat McGrath Labs. I'm now going to do some cream contouring, and I'm going to use my Danessa Myrics Power Cream Bronzer. This is in the shade Deep. I also use this on my eyes to give me a little bit of a transition, but yeah, I'm also going to use this for my contour. I am falling in love with this bronzer from Danessa Myrics, you guys. It is doing something for me. It is just, I love working with it. It's beautiful. I'm going to be using a powder foundation today, so I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes, and I'm going to be using my RCMA No Color powder to do that. Eyes are set. I'm now moving on to foundation, and I am using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Powder Foundation. I am in the shade 350, and this is what she looks like. And I'm going to apply this with my brush. Every time that I use this particular foundation, I use this brush, so I'm going to do that again today. And I'm just going to get this onto my skin. So I'm just pushing it in as I go. This is a really pretty powder foundation. I've forgotten all about this one. I don't know how or why I did, but this is really, really pretty. So before I go any further, I'm going to add a little bit of moisture back into this look. The foundation is powder, and I've got some other powder products that I'm going to use. So I just want to make sure that my face is good and hydrated. It's not drying out too much because I do have normal to dry skin. I'm going to be trying out some of the Totally Beauty Elixir. So I'm going to shake this up really well. And I'm going to take a few pumps of this. I'm going to use my handy dandy fan to help it dry down a bit. And I'm going to move on to blush. And I'm going to be using one of the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out blushes. This is a cream blush from Fenty Beauty. And this is in the shade Rose Latte. And this is what she looks like. I'm going to take a little bit of this on my sponge. And I'm just going to tap this here, and hopefully it's not removing too much of my powder foundation. I'm going to do a little bronzing using my Cocoa Naughty bronzer from Fenty Beauty. I'm going back into the Danessa Myrics Lightwork Vol III palette, and I'm going to go back into this shade right here. This shade is called Golden Eclipse. This is the shade that I'm using as my brow bone highlight. I'm also using it in the inner corner of my eye for this eye look, and I'm going to use this as my highlight as well. This is really pretty. Just a little bit is all it takes, for sure. It is now time to smoke out my waterline, going back to the Lightwork Vol III palette again, going back into the shade right here. This shade is called Black Hole, and I am going to take just a little bit of this, and I am going to add just a little bit of smoke, a little bit more smoke, to the outer corner of my bottom lash line. Just a little bit. And then I think for the inner corner here, I'm going to continue on with Golden Eclipse. That's this shade right here. It's the shade that I have in the inner corner right now. I think I'm going to continue on with that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that coming down into that inner corner and just kind of sweeping it around just a little bit. It is now time for lips, and I am going to be lining my lips with this MAC lip pencil. This is in the shade Cork. And then I'm also going to use this matte liquid lipstick from Dose of Colors. It is also in the shade Cork. The Lightworks Volume 3 Infinite Light Palette from Danessa Myrics Beauty is a gorgeous palette. All of the shades in this palette are high shine types of shadows. The formula may be a little different because this palette does include some cream formulas and powder type formulas, but at the same time, it's going to give you that high shine, high dynamic drama type of eyeshadow look. It's perfect for the holidays. For me, with my mature hooded eye, Lightwork Volume 3 palette, but that's okay. It's definitely a palette that is a collector's item in my opinion. I am so happy to have it in my collection, and the look that I've created, I could not be more pleased with. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.